Hi, welcome to the Village of Buchanan, June 27, 2023 workshop meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, thank you. Okay, so on our agenda this evening, we have here George Palmer, our village engineer, and he's just going to review our roadway improvement projects for this year and our sewer pipe lining bids. Thank you, George. Thanks for coming.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees. We did our annual bid opening for the 2022 road improvements
Speak up a little, George. I'm holding up my phone.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Thank you.
last Thursday, and we received 4 bids. Westchester Hills, Brand First Construction, Yale Field, Monsanto Brothers. 3 at the end of the list, we in the past. We have not recalled their references. If they are considerably lower than the other 2, so we spoke to them. We asked them why they were lower. They said they basically knew the work which going to come in this area, but they decided to bid all right. So, and I asked them if they were good with all their prices. They said they're good with all their prices. And we checked, like I said, checked the references. There were municipal references. They were all pleased with their work. They didn't have a problem with signing or changing. So they are a little better.
You worked with them before?
No, I have not, but there's sub I have, which is Patrol Construction. That matter of fact, it's standing outside.
Oh,
They've been working on it, so that's the favorite. So, and I spoke with the favorite work that they did. Looks fine, they except for one issue. And so the roads that we had scheduled to do, Van Avenue, Portland to Kingsbury, Third Court, and Henry Street. And we had a piece of, so you may remember, we had a piece of Broadway. We didn't do all of Broadway. We had 5 section of it. Because we didn't want to do the whole thing because financial trucks up and down. Broadway, we come to find out, they told us just recently that they're not going to run trucks up and down the roadway. So, so we have some electric one-way. The budget was about 1 million. So we have about 200,000, and we might be able to do all the Broadway. Then we have to check the numbers, check their billing, their paving, their maintenance, check their traffic. That number is allocated over the whole project, so we have to talk to them about what that would be for that section if we increased it, and see what we can do, and then see if it comes within that budget.
did we have a section of Gallagher too? I thought there was a new
Yes.
other section.
So when we were talking, we didn't know what the bids were going to come in at, so we had an alternate, which was Gallagher, which is to do both curbs and paving, and provided a number for that, and still in the so, and that's what will be 5,000.
Including Gallagher. Okay, so we can do 4 roads. And then that comes to roughly 800,000. We have $1 million that's available. And I'm going to ask Marcus, I know we have money that we're going to be discussing the next workshop in the capital fund. So if we needed a little more, would we be able to take out of that capital fund too?
Yeah, that's to the board discretion. There's maybe about $500,000 in there, depending on, we're gonna discuss all capital projects. Depending what the board's priorities are, you can use that money any way you want. And just tell me how you want to sign it. I'll transfer it to the capital fund and then expend it for that specific project.
But it's not sounding like it's going to be a lot. It might just be, because we have that 200,000 and then we just have to figure out,
How close we are to that million. So hopefully before your next workshop, so before that next meeting, we'll have to talk to the contractor with that firm number of what would it cost to complete project.
Yeah, that would be, we need a little extra, you know, I'm not saying whole 500,000, you don't need that, at least we have an option there too, you know. One of the questions that will be asked, I'm sure, will we able to get in on the town of Portland bidding? And that, because I know, I think the town also just announced their road work for this year.
Yeah, so I didn't check their, so there's a piggyback clause in their bid. So I checked that with the party, Angelo, their engineer, before we can put ours out to bid. To see if we can put it back, and we can if we want to. So I'll find out if they have the numbers, if they have the numbers available before the next meeting. I'll let you know, if we're in line or if it's less expensive.
All right. It's an option.
So I just had a question.
Yeah, sure.
So Westchester Hills, who were the references of who would be checked with? Were there other municipalities that they've done work for? Or?
There were other municipalities.
Okay.
I can send you over, so we do a reference sheet and we check, were they on time? Did they meet the budget?
And they were all good.
And they were all good.
That's,
Municipal references.
Yep.
Usually, and they use them again. One of the questions is, would you use them again? If they say we just again, but
that was my own question.
that's really something that, I have.
It gives us the same rate. What you're put for the additional that we're gonna ask for.
So it's, the additional would be the same rate. We would have to agree to it, yes.
Okay.
But we can hold the base prices for that. And the maintenance protection of traffic.
When, like, have they said how busy they are? So, and I know Anthony, I know you've told me that you can like pave year round almost, but I hate when they come in like in October or like the end of the road with this,
If George's telling me what he heard, that they need to work,
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm sure that they'll be here before you know it.
Okay.
And they'll be gone before you know it.
Ah. Okay, yeah, that's my only concern, because we always see we're like at the end of the road all the time, it's just like.
And it's not, I mean, I don't know what the total tonnage is, but. Would they give you square footage or tonnage?
Yes.
Yeah, go to the next page, Sam. The details are there.
We got about
One more. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
2,000 tons. Little 2,200 tons. So, it usually takes, so you saw it like today, they did the milling in one day and they did the paving the next, and they just keep going until they're done. So this is not.
No, I know the guys from Westchester Hills. I know them well. And they are good. And I know the municipalities that they pave in. Down county, they're quality work.
Okay.
Good.
We're just including some of the work also, right? For work. We did.
So, the curb work, there's, also, we had all of Gallagher, from one end to the other, we drove it one day, and it was kind of didn't look good, and we had 3,600 linear feet of curb, so that would probably take longer than paving, right? It would take twice as long as paving. So, but if you drive to Gallagher, you look at curbs. The last time we paved, we left the curbs, and that was 15 years ago, it was a long time ago. So, and we did a small section of Gallagher from 9A right there up, just to do the hill. The hill is having,
Yeah.
We did a lot of bang for bucks. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that way. That's.
I can't believe the price.
No, it seems like they're taking it at cost. You look at these.
The price per ton is low.
Compared to last year numbers were really,
Well,
Compared to the other bids.
compared to what I do. Yeah, there's a lot of money left there. I hope the work is,
Stays on good quality.
Right,
They don't compromise the quality of the cost.
all right.
well, George, you have someone on site when they're doing the road work.
Yes.
An engineer observing.
Yeah.
Good.
And they're on the hook for MPT, you said TAC,
Yeah, everything.
MPT TAC, and they're milling,
Yep.
cleanup.
Yep.
Okay,
It'd be great if we could do, cement over there, but that's cost prohibitive. Have to hit the lottery to do that road, but, all right, but no, that's good. I'm glad, because people have been complaining about Broadway too, so, but this is great. We're doing a lot of road work this year.
well, excuse me, Mayor, but the email that we got last night,
Mhm.
maybe we can touch on that as well. If there's extra, we can extend where the Con Ed, what we just discussed, where Con Ed left off and go to the new key in, was that Ketchum?
Yeah.
Church. And just finish that run, because then that'll eliminate that water buildup.
If there is an icy condition.
And it's really, it's maybe 50, 60 ton over there.
So just to explain it, Con Ed did some gas work. They're obligated to restore half the road, what they did. We want them to do more, they don't want more, but they said, well, this is as far as we can go. So they stopped it there, and they didn't stop it. They didn't stop it in a good location. It seemed to be a low spot. And now there's probably 100 people. I mean, same company, same thing. They should be doing it this year if we were to do it. Like Trustee Jack Price said, they have the equipment right here. Why not do that stretch that half the road? So that road was done in 2017, and it was done by Paley. It was pretty good. You know, everyone seemed to like the way it came out. It was one of the better ones. So it's a shame Con Ed comes through and, you know,
Yeah,
that's what they do.
and their limits are never where you want them to be.
No,
You know, it's obscure limit, whatever the house feed is for the gas service.
Yep.
That's where they cut the limit, and I mean, another 100 feet, we could connect it into what we paid last year. So I think we should maybe we want to get into that.
yeah, we'll discuss that
Yeah.
with Joe since he's there. So
Yep.
say, you know, what is it? What's the cost for finishing that one?
Okay.
Just like we're negotiating Broadway, same thing.
Like I said, we might have a little give there with the capital money, so. Good. I like it when we do roads. Okay, and the next is the sewer pipeline.
So again, last week we did also our sewer pipeline bid. Okay. And we had two companies did that, Harold and National Water. Then we checked the references. They have good references. They meet our budget. We had a grant for over 200,000. So that falls well below that. We have no issue. DOT uses Arrow. And we don't have any issues. We can move forward with that. And with the paving of the roads, we also did some valve work, which is complete. So we're ready to go pave on paving. We get the issue with the valve and with the lining, we have to do some manhole work and we did that. So everything's in line to be off and running. There's nothing, no one's gonna be waiting.
George, this is part of the INI,
Correct.
so we're doing 2,400 linear feet. How much more do we have to do? Like a lot more to do?
So it's not really on an amount basis. So what we told EDC is that we would give them a 5-year plan, and each year we would reduce it by so much. And we've met all our goals so far as far as that's concerned. So the only thing is we did all our manholes that were leaking, which is the easy stuff. And now we're going into pipelining, which we go to cost a lot more than this. So hopefully after this, when we're going to check our infiltration, we're still meeting those reductions.
The grant received, that was 200,000?
It was 200 and change.
It was 200 change. That was the ARPA money, the federal money they gave away. Yes, a little bit over 200,000.
Leaving anything, when we increase the scope, so when you're,
We could,
Yeah,
we could, things
so that's leaving at least 70,000.
so we have
do
another,
more.
so, well, we have two issues, so we have, the lining that we plan to do. And then there's a sag line
Yes,
that's by.
Fat Sal's. clogs.
Big clogs, we have problems with it, just sent it out for survey. And if we don't do it this year, we'd like to do that by the next year to fix the sag line.
We do it now.
Did you camera that,
We can
George?
do it now.
We cambered it,
Yeah.
and there's a sag, it's probably, so as you go, it's from the intersection of, White up to T along 9. So from Franzoso's down to the intersection there. We cambered it, and there's probably 100, 200 foot down in the line. So,
And the grease keeps on getting built up in there like a clogged artery, and we have to keep on jetting it out
yeah, we jetted.
constantly.
So sewer guys, Cook was out there 2 months.
What size man is that?
It's underwater. It's not like it's like half full, it's like goes underwater.
That's always been this year, though, there.
That's correct. It's been that way for many years. And it's still gets worse.
So that grant money could cover that issue.
It could,
So why you wait till next year?
Yeah.
because, we need a DOT permit.
Yeah.
And then
This is a state road.
it's a state road. And, we have to file with the health department. You need a health department permit, you have to file with the state. And if it was just a maintenance thing, you could do it tomorrow, you could do it, so you could put out.
No, I mean, can't we start the process?
Oh, yeah,
What?
we started the process.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. As long as you're not sitting around.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean, help from the, we need the help from it due to the fact that there's a grease trap that ties into that line. Got it?
Anytime you fix the public sewer,
Right.
even for replacement, you have to reach out to the health department and tell them that, who replacing anything. So there are unofficial rules like 10 feet. You can fix like 10 feet. 5% cycle repair. Anything more than that, you have to go out.
Yeah, so I guess we save some of that money to go towards that.
That's correct.
Even when you replace new water main, you have to
Yeah,
contact that.
yeah.
Like saying 10 foot, we'll able to 10 feet is like.
Same thing with
repair.
10-foot rule.
Anything more than that, you.
Yep, I got you. Thank you for educating me, Julia.
That's good, thank you.
Painful.
Yes,
Between the regulatory agencies of the.
Yes, I see it.
Big through.
well, look, when we did 9 with those sidewalks.
Oh,
Oh my
Oh.
God, you would
Yeah.
think it's
years.
simple, it's pretty straightforward, but
That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
start dealing with
DOT.
the DOT,
The
you will
DOT,
have a
yeah.
nice day. Yeah, lots of fun to deal with that.
yes.
So if DOT is listening.
And then you have grant money to go in with it. So now we watch the follow paperwork and whatnot. Poor city. The rest of them, cancel checks.
Teresa,
Don't even make you
we'll
get,
just sign.
you
Sign.
have to give them the cancel check that you got paid. It's, the paperwork is language. So,
But somehow it all gets done, right?
yes.
You have anything else for us, George?
You want to discuss the pickleball court? Somebody
Yeah.
want to bring it up, please?
Sure, so, we budgeted, in the last budget, we put $300,000 as a earmark place. We just put a pickleball court out to bid, big skill. We got, big skill, and, it came in at 250, so that gives you some room to, and that's
one word.
that's converting one tennis court into 4 pickleball. So that's how I know. That's the
That's how small they are.
That's small.
yeah, they're small,
That's
it's a fast, quick
For old
play.
Yeah.
You will watch it. I've never played it, but that's what it takes.
And some of these courts can be converted into like a multi-use, correct?
Yes, if you wanted to play like the volleyball or something.
But the only concern, I mean, if 5 years down the road, the pickleball is bad,
somehow fades and it's back to tennis is more desirable, then we're stuck with 4 pickleball courts and nobody uses, so.
Correct, correct. Yeah, that's the fad right now is pickleball.
Maybe it's something to look into, to use something, more of a multi-use court.
So some of the multi-use have like basketball on them and whatnot, so you could actually do that with those courts instead of the multi, so that.
That's kind of what my thought was.
The thing is, with some of that too, like if you have a basketball court out there, you have to have like movable fences rather than permanent ones, because you try to so since you're changing it to 4, you have to have separation, so you don't want the ball going in the right way.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing, the hurdle that we come across with.
Where's the one that you just didn't explain?
It's people, well, we're just starting.
Right on the main road there, the old clay tennis courts?
The clay courts, yep. The construction crew's there now. Yeah. You can see them working on it now.
That's exactly right. So Big Skill took down, so they were, to save some costs, they took down the fence and got some work all themselves, took out the play and put that to the floor. The contractor was off and running. So, yeah, they had a high demand over there, the recreation department said everybody was going to ask them for it. So they have tennis courts that they line with the wall. People don't like it.
Right.
They want pickleball.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do they put over the wall? Asphalt. It's that's the same as the regular.
We have the asphalt down.
Yeah, but it's in disrepair. Yeah, it's pretty, and so we had, one of the companies that was a competitor of the one that's doing on the scale, look at that and said, yeah, I would redo it. I wouldn't try to cut it, patch it, or do something like that. It's you fix part of it, and then a year later, fix it, maybe have to fix another part of it. So we don't want to go down that path.
The same contractors that were doing the tennis courts, they're kind of doing
Pickleball.
the road systems.
Yeah, that's right.
So they do the blacktop asphalt down, put it on top of that, you paint it, or just up to the top of it.
So the paint surface is a coating system. So it's thick, it's got multi-layers, it's line striping, it's meant to have flex in it, just like a regular tennis court.
7F.
7F, that's, yes, right, yeah. And then you put coating on top of that, there's like 3 layers, the color codes, the line striping, so it's a neat thing.
That's the same process for tennis courts as well?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
The current tennis court, the lighting there, no longer works, but correct?
No, the lighting works. The tennis court's in disrepair. There's
The
recommend,
lighting was up.
the lighting works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, LED.
There's all LEDs there.
Upgraded when the-
When you do the pavilion, yeah. So the tennis court's disrepair, so if you guys do tennis or pickleball, you can actually play in the night, but the lights are working.
People are excited for that. I've heard a couple people, ask if we would consider it. So I think,
We have leagues of pickleball between Peekskill, Cortland, and Buchanan.
but I think well, it's all the way up by the headphones, so.
Yep.
This would be a good,
So George, the peak scale is looking to spend 250, so,
That's about what you would spend in block.
and then we would have to, I'm just trying to. We
Four.
would have
Four.
So instead of the way it is now, it would be,
You have a fence down the middle. So you have 2 courts now, so you put a fence right down the middle. And on one side, you have the shoulder, one side, you have.
all right. Something to work on.
Yeah.
Anything else for us?
That's it. Unless anybody has any questions on anything else.
No, George did a great job, Bev.
thanks.
Well informed.
Thanks, George. Have a good night.
Thanks.
All right, have a
Have a good
good
night, George.
Have a good 4th of July.
Yes.
too.
That's right.
Okay, the camp our camp just started yesterday.
Correct.
So I don't think there's too much right now to update.
No, I think,
Anything for us?
no, she's saying registration is still going on. People are still registering. She's still It's lower than last year. Hopefully start picking up. That's the latest update. So if anybody wants to join, sign up. That's all we can say.
So people can still sign up.
Yeah,
for camp.
yep.
We talked about the pickleball court, discussion of installment agreement for delinquent taxes.
Sure. I think Stephanie sent an email to the board. The situation is right now, the state. Many years ago, if you were delinquent on your taxes, there was no choice but to pay your taxes totally, or if the municipality will foreclose. The state, many years ago, allowed municipality to enter into installment agreements to allow people an option of paying their taxes over time versus paying the full amount. So, Stephanie did some research, provided it to you guys, but we have an individual who wants to enter into an installment agreement. If the board would allow that person to enter into it, you will have to create a local law to create an installment agreement if you wish to do that. The way installment agreement works, to let everybody know, you have to pay 25% of the outstanding taxes as of the date that you enter into the installment agreement. The remaining balance will have to be paid over 4 installments, which also include interest and penalty added on top of that, and you pay that over 6 months. The law also requires that you keep your current taxes current, as well as pay your installments. If either one defaults between the current taxes or installment agreements, the whole agreement is void and the municipality can start foreclosure proceedings. So we're at this point where one person is asking for it. It's a board's option. If you want to do that, Stephanie did some research, provided you with a proposed local law. And that's something if you want to discuss it. I know she couldn't make it today, but we could call for the public hearing in July if the village wants to do that, or not do it at all. It's village option, how you want to handle it.
Money's guaranteed for 6 months.
What?
All the money's gonna be paid in 6 or 7 months.
No, every 6 months you pay the
Every 6 months.
four
It
installments.
sounded like in 6
No,
months.
every-
4
no,
installments every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Okay.
So you give you 2 extra years to pay your balance.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, that's what I was
To
gonna
have
say,
that
6
all
months.
paid up in
Sorry, yeah,
6
no,
months.
it'll be 4 installments.
A lot.
That's why they call installments. 4 installments of the remaining balance. But the only good is the village doesn't lose any money, but that the accrued interest is included in those payments as well. So the person is almost paying the interest over time as well.
I don't have a problem with it, and especially we're in a situation also, I would like to move forward with that. I think, to give any resident, everybody can get into that position, and if they're willing to pay, then, we should try to work with them to.
Okay.
Definitely not getting the money at all, number one.
Right.
And number two,
Well, the other option is to go doing foreclosure and kick them out of the house.
Yeah.
Yes.
and the
And
town
how does-
takes that
How
process.
often does this occur? I know you say you have the one person.
That's the only person right now. It might open the door for, we have a couple other people that might take advantage of it as well. So I don't know how many people wanted to do it. If you create the local law, then everybody will have that option to do that as well.
But the town has, the Brennan property on Bannon Avenue, that's going into foreclosure for lack of payment, but that is an estate issue.
Correct.
That's where that would end up. The town would foreclose it. I think it's after 2 years, if I'm not.
2 years,
mistaken.
yeah, 2 years, any municipality can foreclose on the property, correct. But somebody can always ask for an installment agreement within those 2 years and then extend it for another 2 years. But the good thing about it is that the person will have to keep the current taxes up to date
Right.
and pay the installments as well. So at least you get that people to catch up. So if the board is willing to entertain it, we can call for the public hearing in July for the August meeting. It gives you more time to digest and ask questions for Stephanie when she's back.
Board okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we'll call for the public then.
The public hearing will be when, August?
July for August. You'll call in July for August.
Fee schedule.
I think that's tied in with the next item too. I think you want to tie both of them together.
This has to do with the ordinance, noise ordinance, on top of. The schedule.
No, its fee schedule will be voluntary fees not for fines.
Right.
This will be voluntary fees. I know the board was talking about in lieu of payment as well, so We don't have a fee schedule for in payment of lieu, so I don't know if that's what the board is asking for, or other fees. So I know Cindy gave you all the fees.
I think there's a couple things going
Okay,
on.
yeah, so whatever
I
you,
think one is, for developers. We had something on the books, and I can't find it. We had something on the books, so when, developers came in and did lots, there was a certain thing that was required that in lieu of recreation, because they wouldn't be able to put, I don't know, a playground up or whatever, they would give money towards, and that's how we have the $200,000 in our recreation fund from developers. So we're in a different place now where we have a large developer that's interested in coming in, and it's not single family homes, it's more apartments. And I was hoping Dave was here tonight. I wanted to ask him where the municipalities did.
oh, I can ask them to provide that for the next
Yeah.
meeting, if that's
And
what the
then,
board wants, yeah.
I'm understanding, yeah. I'm
I'd like to see
understanding-
that as well.
Yeah, so we can get an idea of, but then I'm understanding some municipalities do a survey of all their, recreation facilities and what potential recreation facilities, and then try to figure a number out from there. So there's different ways to do it, but I think Dave would be.
Yep.
Would be very helpful with that.
I was gonna provide it to the board. Was there any other fees that the board was interested in looking into or modifying? Or was that the only item that you guys wanted to discuss?
We're going to discuss, I know Dan had brought it up, we're going to discuss, the noise ordinance.
That'll be a
and-
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
totally separate matter.
I don't think there's any other fee schedule. That was the only one we wanted to discuss.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought too. Okay, all right, cool. All right, perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can get some input from Dan.
I'll ask Dave to provide that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to be educated on that, because if there's other municipalities doing something that we should know about, I want to, branch
Yeah.
up what they have.
Yeah.
Yep, no problem.
Next is recreation, no, insurance, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I just think it's time that we look at, alternatives. Not just alternatives, but look at it from the course perspective and make sure what we've got is buttoned up tight and the most cost effective plan that we can have.
Were you going to write general liability insurance?
The whole package.
Yeah, we actually bid that out on an annual basis, and we go out to the market, get responses back. We can give you responses from last year. We try to do that on an annual basis, so we can take.
When we went out last time, did we go to the same broker or did we go to several brokers?
No, because you go
Because the
to,
broker will
yeah.
go to several different markets.
yes, so you have to assign markets to that, absolutely. So, if you want to look at a different broker, that's a totally separate matter in regards to
Yeah.
insurance, yeah.
I think it should be the whole ball wax. It should be the broker. It should be the whole package.
Okay,
And now I go out to bid. We'll put together a good package for that, or is that how we?
Well, it usually comes up on an annual, you want to do it on the anniversary date, so I don't know when the anniversary date
Yeah,
is.
that's basically where I was going.
But
well, the anniversary date is for insurance companies, you're right, but if you want to go market for brokers, like you put an ad out for getting some brokers who are interested and see who wants to bid on the markets, that we can do anytime.
You know, what I find, and I'm not in insurance like Dan, but what I find is, after you're with an insurance company for a while, like prices each year, they give you a lower price and then, all of a sudden you're paying all this money. And I think then you start looking at other insurance companies and they're cheaper. Sometimes they offer more. Sometimes there's more coverage. There's things, so I think it's wise.
It goes into the
Yeah.
insurance program, and I think I think it needs to be looked at. And just do it.
And particularly, the way we get nitpicked on certain items,
Yeah,
it's kind of aggravating that, other entities are allowing these things to happen, and we have to have, our community members come up with so much literature on this and that. I know it's just to protect the village,
Correct,
but it seems a little, it's exaggerated.
Yeah.
So I think we need to pull the reins in on that. as
Okay.
well. That's the problem I have with it.
All right, do you have any idea
Yeah,
what
I
broke?
do too, because it's usually Anthony, myself, or Teresa, or Steve, or even, I don't know if Bob's got calls on it, it's relatively new, but it's usually called to one of us. And it's, a half an hour, 45 minutes to, you know, sometimes it's 2 hours to rectify the situation, to get it taken care of. So
Yeah, if you have any brokers in mind that we can reach out to,
I can poke around and ask,
okay,
you know.
Yep.
I would start by asking other municipalities, who's town of Portland, who's the village of Portland,
Mhm.
start from there.
Okay.
Just an idea.
Yep, okay.
Doesn't cost anything to ask.
Doesn't cost anything,
Yep.
that's right.
And there was one thing I didn't put on, the last, decommissioning oversight board meeting was brutal.
Yeah, that was painful.
Okay, I'm just gonna do an overview. I've been going to these meetings and it's just getting worse and worse. We have a group of anti-nuclear people who have appointed themselves as the sole people that, should make sure that the decommissioning is done safely. And I will give my opponents, and there are our opponents, they are the Village of Buchanan opponents. I will give my opponents credit because they started with forums and they had their experts, once again, anti-nuclear. So I will say this group is anti-nuclear, anti-Buchanan, and they are also anti-worker over at Indian Point. They started with the forums. The first forum, I listened, maybe I'll learn something. I'm always willing to listen to what they have to say. But after the first forum, I was pretty much done when they had a doctor, pediatrician, get on and go on and on and on. And towards the end, she yelled out, "It's a cancer factory." Well, okay, talking about Indian Point. At that point, he lost all credibility with me.
She was a pediatrician
Yeah.
and she yelled that out.
Yes. So now the next meeting, they have her, at the decommissioning oversight board meeting. And so I asked, so I heard what you said. So where is the data? Like, where are the facts? Nobody has any data. Well, the NRC was supposed to, well, then how can you say that? Like, don't spread fear and misinformation. So that was it. So as they were going along, they have effectively used media, et cetera, and they have really caused a fear factor here. The nuclear boogeyman once again came out, and 400,000 signatures, and people had no idea what they were signing. The last meeting, I listened to the NRC. I will say it again, and I will say it 100 times. I am not a nuclear expert, nor are they. There is not one of them that have the experience and the background that the NRC has. So the NRC, I have dealt with them for many years, very professional, very knowledgeable. And last time they accused the NRC of being cozy with Holtec. I don't know of anyone that would lose their job for that. So the NRC was under attack. I don't know what else to say, but for us to get through this, a safety decommissioning, we have to listen to the experts. The NRC are experts in their field. The DEC, experts in their field. The EPA came along. They had from 2015, 2005, they had over 15 years of data of the releases, way below the allowed limits, basically drinking water standards. Once it's discharged into the discharge canal after the 18,000 gallons have been treated. This has been going on, but people fed into the fear factor. Now, anyone can disagree with me. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I'm listening to the experts. This is spiraling out of control. I sit at these meetings. I don't see anybody here from the local communities. When we had our meeting here last time, there were people that came, these are anti-nuclear people, they're organized group from Massachusetts and many other states that came to be at this meeting. And one thing I really need people to understand, before the meeting started, of course, we have the employees who have a lot to lose from Indian Point. They were here in the audience. They had every right to be here. And Assemblywoman Levenberg was very upset that because they were all sitting in the audience, that the voices were being squelched. Whatever, she was saying, but basically she was saying it wasn't, for people to, speak because they were all in the audience. And well, okay, I'm not going to feed into Facebook or social media, but I really have to say this. That meeting specifically, there was no public comment. So nobody's rights, freedom of speech, nothing was denied of anyone. There was nothing that was going to be spoken that evening. It was all informational given out. So let's, I think social media has done us all a disservice. I am more than happy to meet with any Buchanan resident, anybody that wants to understand what is going on over there. Please do not feed into hysteria. So the one thing, I know I went around the long way, but to get there, at the meeting, I said to Richard Webster, who was the head of Riverkeeper, who, got our nuclear power plant down. Now, these are the same people that got the nuclear power plant shut down because nobody questions them. So I said once, look, the Village of Buchanan is not going to give permits or allow that water to be stored on the property. So then he challenged me and he said, do you have your board's approval? I said, yes, we have discussed it, that water is not going to be discharged. It's not going to be put on containers on the property. Well, do you have a resolution? He said, I'll have one for you next month. So it's not only the Village of Buchanan. So I need my neighbors in Montrose and Verplank to understand this is going to affect you too. These containers, and I'm going to repeat again, I've repeated this before, these containers, they want stored on the property. So remember how the nuclear power plant got shut down? Remember the story? Oh, it's built on a fault line. Oh, it's this, it's that, but it's okay to put these containers on the top. Okay, no. So this is going to affect our neighbors in Verplank because these containers can leak, but they also vent through the top. If it vents through the top, depending on the wind, where the wind is blowing, you are going to be affected. So this is not the best way to get rid of this water. This water has to leave. The plant, everyone agreed, the plant would be decommissioned. Okay, that was the goal. So now, once again, the anti-nuclear community is hurting the Village of Buchanan and the local neighbors. And I don't know. So Stephanie's not here this evening. I'd like to have a resolution next week that says that the Village of Buchanan will not allow any containers that store any type of radioactive water or chemicals on its property. And what they're also talking about now is storing it under the ground. Where do these people come up with this? You know what, people in this community should be so damn angry. Who the hell are these people to come into this community and tell us what's good for us? And going back again, I'm sorry I'm venting, but going back again, we do understand what happens on that property affects the community, other communities, okay? All we want, and we've said this from the beginning, is the safe decommissioning of this property and the restoration of it. That's all we're asking for. But to have outside people come in to tell us what's good for us, that should make you pretty damn angry. So I really need the village residents and all the community guys have to, you know what? This is how the plant got closed down because nobody would speak up. I'm discouraged, but I ain't stopping. The fight will continue. This is just ridiculous. Yes, ma'am. So I will have Stephanie write up a resolution and we will approve it. And I'm going to also ask her if we can put that in the scheduled table of uses So for the M1, M2 properties, that it's not allowed in there, so it's concrete. Yes, ma'am.
Were any of you on the Zoom, if you didn't attend that meeting?
I
Dan-
attended.
Dan was there. He,
I-
yeah,
Okay. I had some people that I knew that were coming, and they had working as well as Facebook. These were all people that were supporting Leavenworth.
Yeah.
Who's, Natalie Rose, that's what she's doing, the same thing with that. Same thing with Vladimir, he just came on today, or yesterday, and said he heard no scientific evidence. And I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah, it was on the radio. It's on
Yeah,
WFC.
right, he was on the radio, that he heard no scientific evidence that we should be allowing this to be put into the river.
Well,
I mean,
We
I
had-
sat through the last
we had David here.
5-hour meetings, you know, on Zoom,
Yeah.
and I heard who was the
David.
scientist.
David
and David Lockbaum is an independent, nuclear, technical person who has a background and experience in education, but, you know, what does he know?
So I had. a
That's the
biological-
scary part.
Yeah, I had.
They
biological-
always say follow the science, but they're not following the science.
No,
Because it
I don't
specifically
feel like
said,
this is gonna be.
the safest best way to release the water, to decommission that plant as far as the water, is to release it into the Hudson. They've been
I
doing it for
agree.
60 some odd years,
I,
okay?
I heard the scientists, I heard, you know, all these data that he spoke about from other scientists. And he wasn't, you know, he did it all pro bono. So I don't know where these people are getting this from, but I'm telling you, these two, Leavenworth and Carlin sitting there. I mean, it's on her desk now. When does she have to sign them?
By the end of the year, the legislation would have to be, otherwise it restarts again. But there's a lot of legality, there's a lot of
Can
issues.
Holtec sue them for breach of contract?
Sure.
Holtec has a lot of,
Actually, can.
they have a lot of different options they can take.
Either one of them is probably gonna sue regardless.
Pardon me?
Either one of them,
Either part.
one of them will sue
Yeah.
to install everything, so.
Well, we have a river keeper who says that, there is no contract.
I know.
So,
And
I mean, how we come up
Galloway-
with that is beyond.
Galloway was the one that signed it for us.
All the way, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know where Richard, what rock he's under, but, he was annoying. No, I don't know if it's the accent or just him. I'm not sure if it's that.
No, because he believes he's the big expert questioning the NRC. You are not nuclear, you don't have a background. And going back to Dana Levenberg, she did say right after the meeting, which was a mistake on her part, saying that the village squelched the free speech. Well, let me share something else. If you looked on the Riverkeeper site, they told their followers to be here at 4:45 that day to pack the room. So, but that's okay if you pack the room. You see, there's so much
Well,
hypocrisy, double
Right.
standards, and really the truth isn't coming out. And it's frustrating as heck.
The word on the street was that Holtec had to be first.
No.
And good less spectators. And
No, they just
I'm
want.
not sure, they were in the room.
They're in the room.
They're in the room sitting right in front of people
I
with
pulled up a few
signs.
chairs for some of the elderly ones that couldn't stand. So, yeah, no, they were accommodated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
not only
to give
that-
the village a bad name like that, that's horrible, but
But
this
not-
is what they do.
But not only that, the behavior of some of them was appalling,
I know,
okay?
yes.
Screaming out during the middle of a presentation, okay?
Saying
So-
BS to the NRC. The nuclear
The
regulatory.
presentations were excellent.
Absolutely.
You know, everybody did a great job. I felt bad for Anthony from Holtec between his banter with Richard, but, you know, he's gonna hold his own too. And it
He's
is,
professional.
resources,
Yeah.
it is, you know, whatever it is. It's
People don't want to listen to the facts. They don't want to listen to the facts. They don't want to listen to the data. They want to feed into the hysteria. And I don't know, what do you do about that? I just, you know, so I offer anyone that would like to speak to me about it, my door is open.
Well, I really think that town of Portland with the 98 acres should put the tanks over on their property
Funny you should say that.
because that would be an ideal spot, since they don't know what to do with the property.
The elected officials, nobody has worked with the Village of Buchanan from the beginning, starting with the town board, starting with Levenberg, Harcum. Unfortunately, county exec, George and I have been very good friends. He's been very helpful for the village. And then we can go up to the federal level. So no one has approached the village and said, look, we're looking to do this legislation. Look, we're looking to do this hullabaloo on the river. Not one person has approached the Village of Buchanan. So if you think those people are working for you, they are not. They are working for the anti-nuclear community, their base. I'm sorry. I'm not being political. I'm telling you how it is. Okay? Should be concerned about the Village of Buchanan. How is it going to affect the village, the community that's hurt most? So I'm glad you said that, because since the town thinks it's the most appropriate, best thing in the world to put those containers on the village property, well, yes, Eileen, they have 99 acres over there. So if they think it's so great,
They'll keep jobs.
yeah,
Yeah,
they can,
yeah.
you know, if they think it's so great, then they can put it on their property. I'm sorry, this is not political. I'm very upset. I'm very disgusted of what's going on here and how the village is not considered in any of this, and we're being told what to do. So if I'm lashing out, that's because we are not, even with Richard Webster that night. I said that one time and I said, look, we're not going to allow those containers on the property. It's not a viable option. Blew right over me, like, just like the NRC, like I didn't even speak. And that's when I came back and I said, so let me make this very clear to you, because you're not understanding. We are not giving permits for that. Is that clear enough? So we're in a fight here. This village is in a huge fight. We have no other elected officials fighting for us. This is your fighters here. Okay, there are no other elected officials out there fighting for us. They've all jumped on the anti-nuclear bandwagon.
Yeah, because the constituency wanted that. That's the only reason.
It's a political movement. That's all it is. It's for votes.
Yep.
And that's how the left moves.
Oh, yeah, and they're very good at it.
Very good at it.
Biochemist's PhD tell me that tritium is not absorbed through the skin. But if you're going to have it in the air, there's no guarantee if you don't inhale it. So, you know.
So we're shutting down that next Wednesday night. That's getting shut down. We are not allowing that here. They're not telling the village what to do. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you. Thank you for
I mean,
venting.
lots
No,
of
it's,
time.
you're right. It does.
It's
People come
wrong.
from outside of our community and tell us how to respond to all this stuff on social media and the stuff that's in the paper. And Levenberg and Harcum come to our village and tell us what we need to do, how we should do it. And I know the motivation for that is politically driven. They could give a who less about what happens in this village, and I can guarantee you neither one of them probably ever stepped a foot in that river. They don't even know what they're talking about. And I grew up on that river. I've eaten fish and crabs out of that river my whole life. They've been dumping water in that river, and I'm doing just fine. And my family, the same thing. And I can tell you that those politicians have never stepped foot in that river. Not in this area. So it does. It affects you, especially you. You really dug in on this, and I'm happy to be by your side through it.
Appreciate it. The fight is real, so it's a real fight. So we can't let down. So there's a lot of different plays in motion here. I don't know where it's all going to end up, but it's going to be interesting where we end up.
Yes,
So we're going to fight.
I'm ready. Let's
There
do
you
it.
go. Don't mess with us.
I never thought when I took on the responsibility as trustee in the Village of Buchanan, I was having an argument with the NRC, Riverkeeper, and
Yeah.
talking about tritium and all this other stuff. But you know what? I've educated myself just like the rest of us have. So we're ready.
And you know what? We were very fortunate since the closure in 2017 with Supervisor Puglisi. She was an excellent partner for the Village of Buchanan. She held many meetings, I held many meetings, and that's how we educated ourselves on what are we looking at? What are we facing here, decommissioning? And she was a phenomenal partner, through the whole process.
Yes, she was.
Alrighty, so thank you for letting me vent. My blood pressure just went down. It's all good. Okay, so, let's start with you, Anthony. Do you have
Yes,
anything
I
for
do
us?
have something,
Okay.
actually. I was contacted by the Travel Lax League. Lacrosse League, travel lacrosse kids for the first, second, and third graders. They wanted to know if they could use the field at the pavilion one time a week from September to early November.
Do we have we have to check the schedule for baseball. I don't know when we.
Yeah, we gotta check with the
Well, I
travel
mean,
team
yeah,
schedule.
let's check with them and they
Yeah.
can work, correspond with each other and see if they can work it out. But I just want to throw it out there and, let the ball get rolling so they don't have to look for another place.
Okay.
And they can supply us with the insurance and whatever else we need to make this happen. And,
You said 1 day a week they want to use?
one day a week,
Thursdays, I think, is it, right?
yeah, it's one day a week, from September to early November. I think it's probably like 6 weeks, right?
I think so.
I think it's 6 week schedule. So, and that's it. Everybody, please have a happy and safe 4th of July. I know I will. And, enjoy our Independence Day. That's all I have.
Happy birthday, America, right?
That's right.
Also, I don't know if you want to take a minute, the festival is coming, in July.
That's right.
If
That's
you want to, the dates and.
okay. Yes, I will. I would love to. Thank you
Yes,
for that. I was gonna do that next week too.
Oh, we'll do it next
Well,
week.
why wait?
That's right.
July 12th through July 16th is Mount Carmel's 101st annual Italian feast in Verplank. I have had the privilege of being the chairman of this feast for 16 years now. It's a family tradition for me, and it's a community tradition. And we have great entertainment, we have fireworks, and we do a lot for the community doing. We're having a community night on Wednesday night, the 12th. We are gonna have a fireworks show, we're gonna be giving out prizes to kids. We're gonna try and make the best we can for the community on that Wednesday night. So please come out, have a social pepper, and enjoy some rides and games, beer if that's what you like, and come out on the 12th. See you then. Huh?
Is that-
Oh, the Zeppelins, correct. Yes, I didn't want to tell everybody that's my favorite part, but
Tradition.
Yeah.
Dan, what do we have? Anything tonight?
No, I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. If you're traveling, travel safely. And, be blessed to live in a great country.
You know what? I apologize. We missed the noise. So. How do I put this? We've been having some issues with, noise in the village. After hours, some people are, not really being respectful to the neighbors, and it's several properties. It's not, I'm not saying one person. So I've asked the board, I've given them, the noise control, where our legislation is here. And, we have a few things, we have to adjust. One of is the penalties for offenses right now in our code. It's a violation of this article is an offense punishable by a fine of not less than $10, nor more than 100. Each state violation shall constitute a separate offense. So that's something that we need to,
Yeah, we need to look at the fee schedule and, repeat offenders, I think. Until we can curb this and get it under control. If you're a repeat offender, we should, those cases should be handled different.
Scale of the scale.
Yep, scale them up as they go along.
But in the ordinance, do we have anything on lighting, like?
No.
We're told about lighting, lights going in people's
Anything
windows.
noise pollution, like I know, yeah, I know.
There's noise pollution, there's no light pollution in the New York State code. Each municipality has to adopt their own requirements for that.
Did you ever see Christmas Vacation? When the lights were shining in his bedroom?
Yes,
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good one. That's a good one.
I was in Irvington, we had issues there, and the board adopted, certain requirements that it could not be over the property lines, excessive light. So canopy assemblies had to be installed to shine the light down.
Yeah.
It couldn't be light that shined directly across, over the property.
So
No,
then
And is there a measure of looms on that as well?
there's a lot of things you could add to that.
Yeah.
But like, that excessive light should not be over the property line affecting the neighbor.
Yeah.
And
So we are gonna rely on you, Peter, for your input on.
I'll contact Irvington and see.
And one of the things, I'll just do it quickly, one of the things, I'd like to point out, there's kind of a little not consistency here because, continuous animal noises, but in one way it says, between the hours 7 p.m. and 8 a.m. There's, noise from any like snowmobiles, motorcycle, blah, blah, blah. But all other loud or raucous noise is likely to annoy or disturb people are prohibited between the hours of 11 p.m. and 8 a.m. So that might be something the board would like to look at, 11 p.m. But, we're not party poopers here, believe me. There's nobody likes party like us. But, we have to be respectful to our neighbors. So I don't know if a board member would like to take this on. There is something called E-code. And you can look at different municipalities, what their codes are. Or if everyone would like to look at that and bring forward some it's E-code. And then you could see, like, for example, what the Village of Croton does, Hastings, different things, maybe.
Yes,
Maybe
Sundays.
look at that and see if there's something that we're not addressing that.
Yeah. Yeah, 8 a.m.
Good, I'm
8
sorry,
a.m.
I wanted to do that, so you guys look at that.
Thank you.
Yes, Steve,
Yeah.
what do you have for us? Anything?
Just quickly before we leave, I just want to thank the seniors for inviting us to their annual luncheon on Friday. It's not easy to attend, a lot of the events throughout the year, but I was glad I was able to join on Friday and thank them. Enjoy the 4th of July.
Bob, have anything?
I have a couple of things there.
Sure.
Peter, so I went down Rockland Avenue the other day.
Oh, Mike, yeah.
I went down Rockland Avenue the other day, or this morning actually, and I saw what the Dual stuff.
Someone had made mention,
This is Saturday?
somebody had made mention to me just yesterday, actually, that, I guess it's the deli area.
Yeah.
In the back of the lot, they sold the old trucks.
It was one in front and a couple on the side, one in the back.
I was just notified about that yesterday. So
I think they're renting the vehicles.
I think they opened, they might have opened a franchise. there.
Sign.
Oh, there is signage?
What's this?
Oh,
You,
Where?
the deli.
because I know at the top of Welcher, they.
On Blake?
Right across there, well, I didn't realize- maybe that's. what it is.
They was parked on right next to Brian Calabro.
Oh, I think he's using that for storage.
Yeah.
One that
Great.
kind of-
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Someone's just saying they saw a lot of people.
Yeah.
trucks. That's
So
all.
the other question I had is, a couple houses that I'm concerned with. One is next to the firehouse. It's National Fire Hall, the Preston House, maybe I should say name I'm going to. What's going on? I mean, it's really an unsafe building, or enough. Yeah.
Well, it was condemned by Mr. Palmer and the previous inspector,
Right.
and that's where it's at, because people keep paying the taxes on it. It's not like it's being taken away.
And speak up, Peter, I'm sorry.
Right, the next step would be, if the village board wants to, you can assign the village engineer to see if the structure is unsound and do an engineering report on it. If it is, we can knock it down like the building we did, it was on White Street years ago. It was a White Street, so the engineer will have to give you a report on behalf of the village board. If it's considered unsafe, you can knock it down. Guys,
But they continue to pay their taxes up.
Yeah, they
would
don't
you-
know.
I can call you, want me to call him tomorrow and see, and tell him?
Yeah.
I'm just
Right.
curious.
Give me the number, I'll call him tomorrow.
It's really bad over there. The yard is full of,
Yep.
what? We boarded that up and I was performing down here numerous times. We broke it down. The people that have built that rent from us and we go to the store,
they complain about it. It's horrible.
Right.
The other house over on, Blakely Avenue, well, does pass through town road.
The green yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
Through town road, but there we go.
The town of course is taking that house now.
Are they, is that?
I never said that a while ago, but I don't know if it's true. So this is the same situation, are they paying a passage there?
No, the house was, no, it was, we just discussed that before. I believe it was being taken by Corley.
So it's a similar situation that was up on.
Bannon,
Yes.
correct.
So, and they only, and it could be 2 years by the time they get there.
Well, it's actually.
I think it's
on White
been the
Street,
two.
too. That was-
Right.
You want a White Street with a long time as well.
Yep.
So, okay, well, I just wanted to bring them up to some things I've been seeing and noticing. And I know I brought the last meeting about electronic sign. Possibly do that, let's go back now a little bit, maybe if it's something that we can do it. So
On the
it seems
front
to do
lawn,
it.
right? You want it?
If the front lawn, if anyone has a better place to put it,
No, I think it's a great idea.
no, we wanna, if we had- Talking about the high school sign? The high school,
Yeah.
library,
Firehouse, firehouse.
yeah, they look decent, they're not like, in your face, but sign, there's something we can look at, doing, contact someone about that.
Which one do you like? I'll contact whoever you want and see how much it was, who the vendor was.
It's library, but the high school one.
Which one do you like the best? There's so many
The
out.
one's nice, it's kind of, it might be
High school?
a little bit too big for there.
And then just high school, they have a sign out front.
Yep, I seen it,
That's
yeah.
anchored in the stone.
Yep.
That's it. stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably it's the same.
The library has,
Probably
the
a,
library is just that structure around like the. high school.
5-page
Smaller. Yeah, something we can look at
Doesn't
there.
directly face the, not all as a
We can get the
No,
as a distraction.
Yeah,
So
that's
to the side.
that's why. it's side-
So which one is that, high school or library? Who do you want to call?
Well,
Okay, both, okay.
Library's just installed, so they probably have.
yeah,
I'm close, I'm close.
Information.
The library, okay.
I mean, the firehouse coming in, we have it attached to the wall, so.
Yeah, my house too, you know.
I'll get you the vendor and then you can decide the size and stuff, and get a price, okay.
Okay, what else do I have here? I did go to the, seniors luncheon. Trustee Capitani, Lakeland, and the mayor, had a good time there. About 40 people, they're looking to recruit 2 people. And if you guys are a certain age, you can join.
Mhm.
I might be that old, I'm not sure yet. But,
At least 55 and above.
yeah, so like that, I
Yeah.
had a conversation with her about that, so, they're trying to, get things going, Sue Giuliani took over, Giuliano.
Yep.
Took over, so she's doing a good job of what she's doing.
Yeah, they're planning for a trip and,
They have a future plan,
Yep.
they have the Lancaster, Pennsylvania trip,
Radio City too.
radio music one, which is going behind the scenes look, I guess, and they're also doing a cruise out of it.
Yep,
So.
very active this year.
Well, you know
Well,
what, it was kind of, with COVID, everything got shut down and then they lost their director and
Right.
so they're building back up. But it's a fun group. They're
Not like
really
it was
good.
years ago, they're trying to build it back up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was part-time there back in '88 when that second floor was packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
and on Thursday nights, it's 250 people.
Mhm.
So, and the only other thing I'll bring up is the first thing with the fire department, I run a golf outing every year, we're doing the show on September 8th. I will be, getting people, letters in the doorways about sponsorships and anything else we can do about the firehouse. It's our biggest fundraiser. This year we're doing it under Kenny Hall, from Cheryl Gilmore's brother.
Hmm.
He's, never been allowed over there. So I've been doing it for over 20 years and I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of work, but contact me or some of the firehouse, we can get you to sign up the golf, or sponsor, or tickets that we can sell. And that's all I have.
Oh, thank you. The only thing I want to mention is yesterday was the 100-year anniversary of the Indian Point Park. It was called the Pleasure Park and it was built by the Hudson River Dayliner. We also have a lot of information on our Facebook page. There were picnic grounds, playgrounds, walking trails, dance hall, and also a 100 by 150-foot pool. So from 1923 to 1948, they went out of business and another company took over in 1950. They opened back up and then Con Edison purchased the property in 1954. And then Con Edison, just a little history, I think it's fascinating. And then Con Edison in 1956 began the construction of Unit 1 on the Indian Point property. So a lot of history there. There is a book that's out by Brian Van Boer. I will have him come to do a presentation at one of the board meetings and also on Buchanan Day, which is coming up. I think we'll invite him for Buchanan Day to set up a table and have some pictures out and stuff like that. I think that would be interesting for people. The only other thing is, I want to say welcome home. Ken says welcome home to Johnny Rittinato. And, his mother is Marie and John Rittinato. The Rittinatos are well known in the village. And Zach Rodak. And for people who know the No-Highs, Colleen, No-High, who lived on Tate Avenue. Dan was a neighbor of them, for many, many, many years. That's Colleen's son. And also, Lawrence Chuley, son of Lawrence Chuley. So they were on deployment in Africa for many, many, many months. So welcome home. We missed you and we're glad you're back. So, and thank you for your service as always. We appreciate you all. So, Marcus, did you have anything for
Nope,
us?
not tonight.
Okay. So no other questions? Okay. Happy birthday, America. And I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you and have a great weekend.